What's cracking, people? It's your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high-level technicians operating globally and beyond. So listen, today I wanted to give some insight on a conversation that I was having with a select group, a very small collective of guys who I kick around ideas, thoughts, and topics with, who give me honest feedback. You know, these are mostly wiser men who are older than I am. 50 plus, 60, whatever. We don't meet often, but there are also younger guys in the group that I work out with and stuff like that. Anyway, just to give you a background, and we were talking about various things, and I didn't realize that things that I felt were obvious, or that I saw as just, I took for granted, other men had no perspective on, or were probably clueless about until I made certain things known from my perspective. And one of the elders in the group said, it's just like when in the garden God asked Adam and Eve, who told you you were naked? Because before that point, they didn't realize, their eyes weren't open to the reality of the situation. It took an outside force to show them and to explain to them and give them the fruit or the tools that allowed their eyes to be open to the reality that other entities or other personalities or other people were aware of, but these two or these people were not aware of. And that's where I came up with the title, Who Told You You Were Naked? And how I apply that to this space, the Select Manosphere, is the same way. When men in this space relate our stories, when we relate our experiences, just in life, or especially when we talk about interacting with women, we relate it from the perspective of men who have always been varsity captains, men who have been trainers, men who have been athletes, salesmen, who have been the trailblazers, men who are the roughnecks, the strong men on the construction sites, the lawmen, the military guys, the men who have the experience of getting things done. And as a result of the daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly rituals and routines that we were always used to. We're used to coming off a football season, training for basketball season, coming off of basketball season, or training for dual sports like baseball, for track, outdoor season. We're used to being in situations where we're monitoring our nutrition, we're keeping our lung capacity up, and transitioning from one athletic activity to the next. We're used to interacting with guys in a team environment. So we're used to playing the dozens in the locker room. We're used to, shitting on the guy who dropped the pass, or shitting on the guy who, messed up a play or something like that. But that built up our outer skin. We're the type of men who have been rejected. We've dealt with losing and taking L's, and we've gone back and we've watched the tape and saw what we did wrong and saw how to make that better. The same thing with women. When we were coming up, we were the ones who were willing to put ourselves out there, the ones who put together our little strategies in grammar school or grade school and middle school and in high school, and then presented that to the chicks that we liked, the chicks who honestly, playing sports, especially if you're playing varsity sports, you're used to hanging with cheerleaders. You're used to hanging with the pom girls. You're used to, hanging with sort of the popular kids or whatever. And even when you got rejected because, you know, you put together your little spiel or your little thoughts or whatever, and you said something to a chick, and it could have come off as, you know, corny, or it could have come off as unpolished, and she laughed in your face. And she was like, that's whack, or that's stupid, or it's silly. But then she would say, but you cute though. And from those moments, we started to realize that it's not just one thing. It's a combination of things. It's a combination of your confidence, your charisma, your style, and maximizing and highlighting your natural features that are attractive and arousing to the opposite sex. And so over the course of our experience growing up, we came to understand what it meant to be the first choice for women, what it meant to try, when we're younger, try to juggle as many women as you could, and then you get to a point where it's like, I can't do this. Hey, it's easier just to be honest. Hey, look, I'm with this person, and I got this person coming through at this time. I'm going to the movies with this person. What do you want to do? And then that moment when the next chick said, that's cool, when can I hang with you? That's when, you know, men in this space came to a moment of realization that if you're honest with yourself first, and you're honest with the woman that you're interested in secondly, even if she's not the primary woman that you're with, she appreciates and she has a desire to be in your presence, even if it's not her time slot. So this collection of experiences over the course of the men who are in this space, who have very similar experiences, having this space, the Select Manosphere, and spaces like this to corroborate our experiences and to exchange sort of the tips and tricks and just the overall observations about our experiences with women is priceless. But compound that with this space being within a greater space called the manosphere of men who have been collaborating their overall stories and their overall experiences with women. Men who may not have been the captain of the varsity team. Men who may not have been used to working out, training camps, putting their outfit game together, getting their set game on, understanding and taking the time to look at who you are, being challenged by other men who were athletes, challenged by other men who were attractive to women growing up. Those times where we would shadow box each other, those times where we would have real, battles, wrestle, come to blows if we have a disagreement, and challenge each other to improve and be better next time. And guess what? All the while, Coach was always looking. Coach would see that and observe that and be like, you know what? Get that done. Get it out your system. Everybody got wind sprints. Everybody got suicides. Everybody, everybody got to hit all these weights on top of whatever it is, the issue that you just had to air out in the locker room. But that was how masculinity, healthy masculinity, was expressed, and how we worked through whatever challenges or misconceptions or ego trips we may have had. But at the end of the day, everybody as a team still came together to get the job done. We still had a mission to complete as a team, as men. When we are on that field, when we are on that court, when we are on that field of battle, we are singularly mission focused to get the job done. And once we're done, we hug, we dap, we shake hands, and we move on with our lives. Nowadays, oh man, these guys keeping grudges worse than women. But then I realized I remember that the greater expanse of men don't have those, or don't share those experiences necessarily. And so when you take the red pill, for example, or the cycle of red pill, when the average man comes into the manosphere and they take the red pill, they see all these things, they see women for one side of who they are. They see women as people who want to take advantage of a system that's geared in their favor. That's obvious, and that is a truth that everybody acknowledges. That they weren't used to experiencing. And that's why I chose the title, Who Told You You Were Naked? Because the thing that's asking them, who told you you were naked, is their own ego. You see, the ego had gotten used to the red pill. The ego had gotten used to reality the way that they saw it, or the way that the common man observed this reality outside of what the quote-unquote gynocentric society had blindfolded them to for all these years. Now you've got this whole other space in spaces similar to this one, the Select Manosphere, of men who are showing them and sharing with whomever is willing to listen our experiences, so that we can understand and teach each other and point out things to pre-select men and also to non-select men to assist them in their self-improvement along this path of masculine mastery, and give them the tools that helped us, and that the things that would normally come natural to us that allowed us this perspective. We are trying to share that with other men who are willing to listen and willing to do the work and willing to apply the principles that are laid out in spaces like this. Principles such as working on your personality or charisma. Principles like working on your body or your health and fitness and wellness. Principles like working on your masculinity. 3 central components that were crystallized by the Field Master Ron Wills. Other concepts such as being mission focused, being focused on your purpose and reason for being here in the first place. Here being wherever you find yourself on the planet, discovering and owning your cash value. Cash meaning commodifiable attributes, skills, and habits. There's so many more sort of gems that are fielded around in this space, but there's so much more. Like, women for a long time have wanted to know what goes on in the minds of select men. They wanted to know why the quarterback wouldn't share his intimate thoughts with them, why the maintenance man would listen to her drone or pretend to listen to her drone on about what other men and in particular her significant other, her boyfriend, husband, or whomever couldn't really do for her as far as satisfying her. And that includes, whining and dining, paying for things, providing things for her, putting, a Mercedes-Benz in her driveway and Christian Louboutins on her feet. While at the same time, she turns and gives that alpha, gives that maintenance man, gives that select man her undivided attention, her willingness to participate in his world and follow his program, submission, quote unquote, if you would. All the while, he's not giving her details of his life. He's remaining mysterious. He's remaining in a dominant position. And so it's pretty clear that most men, majority of men, don't even realize that they're naked. They're out here like food, completely unaware of, for example, the level of turn-up that a flight attendant is capable of when she spots a select man in his zone at the airport terminal, getting ready to get it in right there and then. Most men are unaware of why a senior vice president of a financial firm got a single letter S tattooed on her inner thigh while at a conference in Vegas. Most men will never understand why a stay-at-home mom will schedule a babysitter, schedule grocery shopping, schedule Christmas shopping, schedule a tire rotation, oil change, all in one day, just to free up 7 hours of time so that she can catch a flight to another state, check in at a hotel, have her mind, body, and soul smashed, catch a returning flight back home, all in time to have a late night dinner warming on the stove. In that moment, she is relaxed, she's unbothered, and she's well fucked. And gentlemen, let me be very clear. That is only the beginning. As always, this is your man Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying, stay sharp and mission focused. Later.